Alright everyone, we start off today talking of course about the DOJ's insane new filing with regards to the Mar-a-Lago FBI raid and the ongoing persecution of Donald Trump, who separately, it's just coincidental that Truth Social is being blocked from the App Store at this time by Google. It's a coincidence. It's, again, big tech has never been informed by the FBI to interfere in political proceedings. You know, the whole Hunter Biden thing never happened. Anyway, if you look at the new filing, first we have legal Weasel Words, designed to compel the public and the judge in the case not to actually stand for anything. Then we have a very interesting picture that we'll talk about with regards to the storage and protection of classified materials. Firstly, link in the description, archived of course. You've got the Weasel Words. Now, when you say that someone likely concealed documents to obstruct justice, what is that? For legal purposes, when you say that that's likely. Because you are not the judge in the case, you're not the grand jury, you're the group investigating, that's just like your opinion, man. It means absolutely nothing. But, notably and predictably, immediately after this drops, what ends up among the legacy media number one, but also leftoid craptivists on Twitter and Reddit and so forth, what happens? The likely obstructed justice thing, or obstructed the investigation, into something that even at the end wouldn't be a crime. It would be a fining offense related to the storage of documents. It's not even directly under the Espionage Act at some point. It likely becomes certainly. And so Donald Trump, he attempted to conceal documents illegally, again, name the law, to try to obstruct the National Archives investigation, which is what this has now morphed into, specifically in regards to the retention of documents. So you've got Weasel Words. Usually that's an admission that you don't know what the hell you're talking about and you don't have any actual evidence, because there is none. Trump committed no crime. Secondly, you have an interesting picture from the Mar-a-Lago raid, which appears to show that the FBI agents took top secret documents, laid them out onto a floor. Talk about the mishandling of classified material. They were presumably stored away in boxes. That's how they were presumably found. This is what the fucking inventory states. Boxes of documents, not scattered all over the floor. Place them on the floor in order to conveniently photograph some of the cover sheets. Now, of course, this doesn't show anything specifically top secret. It's the cover sheets and some interior parts of the documents that are covered up in white. So they've been covered up so that people don't actually see the top secret part. I'm thinking to myself, if Donald Trump had these properly stored in boxes, that is that they're, in the room, they're filed, they're not lying on the floor, they're not being folded, spindled, and mutilated, and the FBI came in and decided to scatter them all over the place in order to get a picture for their filing before the judge in this case, isn't that a little bit damning? And we got separately an entirely different federal judge commanding the existence of a special group, a special individual to go through the documents to determine what is or is not allowed, what is or is not under attorney-client privilege, what was or was not stored improperly, etc. It's going to take them a million years to go through that. At least some of the documents that were taken in the Mar-a-Lago raid have been determined independently by the FBI itself to be covered under attorney-client privilege. Their filing simply countermands the concept that Trump invoked executive privilege. Why? Can I ask the liberals something? When the FBI and DOJ's own witch hunt filing here specifically states, and this is making the rounds on Twitter and elsewhere too, specifically states that it is their belief, because that's literally all it is, there's no official process for this anyway, they state a belief that Trump did not exert executive privilege over the documents in part or in whole that they found at the Mar-a-Lago. So they're focused on the attorney-client side, which already exceeds the warrant, just like taking his passports did. They done goofed on 2 different occasions. They done goofed with this picture, although the legacy media is not going to tell Soccer Mom America about the significance thereupon. Hey, yeah, the documents were mishandled by the FBI. That'd be an interesting line now, wouldn't it? Even Fox won't trot that out because They're too afraid of jumping too deeply into the situation. They're afraid to be persecuted and lose some of their backers. But I'm not, because my backers are the people watching this video. It helps to be independent sometimes. Here's the other glaring part. Why would they say that executive privilege was not exerted over the documents if they had a legal belief that executive privilege wouldn't shield Trump from any repercussions for having the documents? It's a tacit admission that nobody's mentioning. It's just like the other day with the Hunter Biden case and the sort of snake speech of the FBI with regards to the public/DOJ being totally different from what they told Mark Zuckerberg, and now the Republicans are demanding an investigation into that and attempting to subpoena information, private communication, and see what the fuck went on. Why would they mention, again, nobody else is saying this, I seem to be the only voice in the desert doing so, why would they even mention executive privilege unless it were a legal defense? But it clearly is. Donald Trump had the capability of effectively declassifying whatever the fuck he wanted as the President of the United States. Some of these documents are going to have to be returned probably because of the attorney-client privilege anyway. Well, I mean, there goes the case. You've got an overreach of a warrant that's based on a fishing expedition that is morphed from predominantly Espionage Act. They're worried that he's sharing intel with, I don't know, Russia or whatever, to a squabble with the National Archives to simply repatriate documents that's not even pertinent to U.S. code that would result in criminal penalties, by the way. And then they have a Weasel Word filing to try to dissuade the judge from appointing a special master. A separate court has to get involved. This thing from top to bottom is being bungled by Trump's enemies. It sort of looks a lot like the Steele dossier Russiagate thing. That was bungled too. There's still an active probe by Durham into a bunch of people involved there. The fact is that Trump did nothing wrong. He did exert executive privilege. He exerted it by being the chief executive when he removed the fucking documents. That's basically all. They would not have mentioned that in their filing the other day unless they were worried that that assertion, and he will in court if there is a case, if he is indicted, he will assert this, unless they were worried that that would hold up in a court of law. Trump can go up in front of a grand jury or a judge or whatever the fuck process they end up instituting and say, look, I was the president. I removed documents from the White House for personal records, that's the Clinton defense, under executive privilege, which is the general defense. Some of it is attorney-client, which is a third wave defense. And by the way, the FBI not only conducted an illegal fishing expedition at the Mar-a-Lago, which is fairly clear if you really read into it more than surface level, aka beyond the CNN taglines. Not only that, they exceeded the warrant in 2 separate ways while taking privileged material away and my passports, which weren't even covered under the warrant. So it's a miscarriage of justice. You have to throw the case out. There should be a mistrial if there's any indictment whatsoever. He's got like 5 different layers of legal defense here. And the DOJ and the FBI keep making it worse for themselves, and all you hear from the legacy media, from the lamestream, and from all the lamestreamer craptivists with the blue check marks, that crowd, is that Trump is in deep danger. This time we finally got him. The problem is, again, it's like the boy who cried wolf. You've been saying that about every other case. His tax documents, Pissgate, the Steele dossier / Russiagate, the Stormy Daniels thing technically qualifies. The raid on Roger Stone. Well, he seems to be free now, isn't he? Giuliani, etc., etc., etc. The J6 committee. How many times are you going to bonk yourself in the head? Again, it's like watching the stupidest orangutan in the zoo, incapable of determining that he shouldn't press the little red button that's in his enclosure because it shocks him. He's never quite figured out how to press the green one next to it by which he could get a piece of fruit. Never going to figure it out either. Just too fucking stupid. That's about all. Peace out.